We always start with a little bit of settling, and then we'll do some introductions since we have a small group, and then I'll share what we're going to focus on tonight. So go ahead and find a comfortable position. Your back is straight but not rigid. Closing your eyes if that works for you. Taking in a deep in-breath through your nose. And a longer exhale through your mouth. Taking a moment just to settle into this space right here. Letting go of your day. Perhaps all the information and stimulus that you've already taken in today. Just letting it set to the side for a little while. You've dedicated the next hour or so to taking care of yourself. So allowing yourself to literally land right here, noticing where your feet are resting, the position of your hands, noticing the quality of the air in the space where you are. Breathing in deeply and exhaling slowly. Allowing your body and your mind to settle. Sometimes there's this nice image, imagining yourself sort of on a hillside, and in the distance you're aware of a train going by. And there are cars in the train. And they may represent your thoughts, your emotions, all sorts of things like opinion or judgment or remembering. But from the distance, they all sort of look the same. They're present, going on their own journey. So just allowing those cars to go by, those thoughts and emotions to take their own voyage. Knowing that if you need them, you can find them again. They'll come back to you at another time. After you feel like you've settled for a little bit, just taking a moment to tune into the sound of the bell. And as you're ready, gently blinking open your eyes, maybe keeping your gaze downward at first. Taking in the light in your space. Expanding your horizon to take in objects in the room or in your environment. And eventually, as you're ready, bringing your attention back to the screen, to the faces there. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so I was thinking about all of us in our living conditions and recognizing that sort of reflective of what Carrie was saying, we can have all sorts of weather going on for us even when we're living with other people, and especially when we're living with other people. So tonight's focus is on relationships. And so I have a story to share with you, and then I have a piece to read, which comes from the Millennium Schools, which is, they offer this program called Forum for educators. It's sort of social emotional well-being for educators. And as one of their instructors, I have some of their write-ups. And so we are welcome to use it in other settings as well. So I'm going to read to you from some of their work on developing healthy relationships. And then we're going to do a practice doing some journaling and some self-reflecting, and then do some sort of closure together. And we always end with deep relaxation with whatever time we have left. So that's our schedule for tonight. So the story is from my own family. And there was one summer when I had read this great book by Brené Brown. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she's written all these books about self-empowerment. And this, in this one book, she was talking about the stories in our own heads. And so that was sort of like our theme for the summer, is that we would the family kept talking about the stories in our heads. And we shared it with other cousins and all that. And we were all up in Massachusetts at our family log cabin, and we were going to go in the water. And so a whole bunch of us were in the water, and we're going, get in, it's great, it's so warm, it's lovely, come in the water. And this one family member was like, not going to do it. I'm not going in that water. And we're like, what's going on? And the story in my head was that they were, just sort of scared of getting their feet cold, or maybe it was too squishy with the mud. But then this little family member goes, the story in my head is that you all want me to be bitten by fish. And we're like, no, there's no fish around here. Like, there's fish out there, but if you jump in the water, the fish will all go away. They're not interested in you. They're scared of you. So it was delightful to see what the stories in our heads are. And you only know the stories in your own head. But as human beings, we spend a whole lot of time trying to figure out the stories in other people's heads, which makes relationships really complicated and layered, which is normal, but it's just bringing some awareness to that. So I'm going to read a piece to us. So go ahead and settle back into your sort of meditation posture, whatever that is for you. Maybe legs, sturdy against the ground or tucked up under you. You're upright and relaxed at the same time. And close your eyes if that works for you, and just let these words sort of wash over you. It's called Developing Healthy Relationships. A significant factor in building healthy relationships is our openness to examining our own beliefs and shifting them based on the new information that we gather. The same is true of noticing and understanding other people's beliefs and the behavior that is the result of these beliefs. There is good science that supports the idea that it is not only the stories we tell ourselves about a situation that matters, but the emotions we experience and how we choose to deal with these emotions. Several scientific studies have found that the process of labeling our emotions provides an opportunity for us to more accurately reflect on what it is that we are actually feeling. And because we take the time to reflect, we can better choose how to productively respond and communicate. This process of reflecting and labeling our emotions enables healthy relationships because it gives us the language to communicate and ask for what we need. I'm going to say that again. The process of reflecting and labeling our emotions enables healthy relationships because it gives us the language to communicate and ask for what we need, while simultaneously helping us to respond productively rather than reacting in the moment without reflection. The work of Dr. Marshall Rosenberg is also instructive. It is proven to be very influential in providing a framework in which individuals, even with diverse perspectives, can better communicate and build healthy relationships. In his work, Dr. Rosenberg helps to identify the types of internal dialogue that can focus attention on the actions that can manifest a situation that meets both your needs and those of others. In other words, his work supports the idea that it is not only what we experience and feel in relationships, but also the stories and internal dialogue that we start with that matters. So the stories and that internal dialogue also matters in our relationships. Rosenberg's work shows that empathetic listening and honest expression lead to a healthy dynamic in your relationships. Some tools that we're going to practice tonight will help you be effective in empathetic listening and your own honest expression of what's going on internally. So what I'd like us each to do is to bring to mind a situation that's going on in your life. This may be a situation that you keep rehashing over and over when you're trying to fall asleep at night. Maybe something that you think of more than once during the day. It keeps coming up for you. And in the situation, be sure that there's somebody else involved too, right? Maybe some person that you care about deeply, but are having trouble with, or it could be somebody that you don't care about deeply, but is an important part of your life, and you're having interactions with them that need some clarity. Whatever it is, I'm bringing a situation to mind of a situation in which you have a relationship with somebody and would like to bring some exploration, some clarity into this situation. So imagining yourself in the scenario with the other person. You can really imagine it if you want. You can imagine the environment, what's around you, whether there are other people there as well, what time of day it is. You can imagine the weather outside and inside. And then just think for a moment briefly, and then we'll delve more into this in our journal writing. But think briefly, what are the facts of this situation? Forget about the stories, those internal stories. Just what are the facts? What is true? What is your story? The story in your own head about where you're coming from, maybe where this other person is coming from, or these other people. What are you telling yourself in your own mind? Then checking in and reflecting on what your emotions are connected to this scenario. What emotions arise for you? Treating this whole process with open awareness and investigation. These emotions are neither good nor bad. They are exactly what they are. They may be sadness or guilt or overwhelm or confusion or anger or love, whatever it is, just noticing what they are without judgment. And then tuning in to the sensations in your own body. Where are you experiencing these emotions physically? Is there a tightness in your chest or in your throat? Do your shoulders hunch up? Maybe you're even noticing a physical change in your body right now as you're just imagining this scenario. Tune into that. Notice what that is. Maybe give yourself a brief body scan from the top of your head to your feet and notice if there's any areas where you're holding tension, any areas where you're experiencing unease or discomfort in any way. The fifth step is to notice what your part is in this situation. What is your role? If this were a whole play on stage, what part do you play? What do you want? What do you really want? So taking a moment to blink open your eyes, taking a deep breath in. And I have just plugged in some of these 6 steps, these topics, in the chat box. So what we're going to do is spend some time journaling and reflecting for yourself. So if you need to go get paper or pencil or anything that you don't have with you right now, feel free to just go get that. And then what we're going to do is take some time. I think maybe we'll take 10 minutes and see if we need more, or you can let me know in the chat box if you're done before then, to reflect on these. There are 6 of them, so 12 minutes may be better. We'll see. The exploring relationships, the clearing model process. Step 1 is to list the specific facts. Step 2 is to write down what your story is, story in your own head. Step 3 is to list your emotions. Step 4, the sensations in your own body, where you're feeling those emotions. Step 5, reflecting on the role that you have in this situation. And then step 6, writing down what it is that you want. Are there any questions or comments before we begin writing? You can feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question out loud or put it in the text box. Okay, so why don't we just begin our journaling process. And then as you're done, you can smile and wave at me, or you can write a little note in the chat box, but we'll plan on doing 10 minutes. I'll let you know when we're halfway through. I'm going to pause our recording for a moment. So if you're listening to this later, you might want to pause it as well and then start playing again when you're done doing your journaling. I thought it was interesting when I got to the part about what my role is in the situation. I thought maybe it's not about me, because my situation involved 2 other people. It's like maybe my role is to like get out of my own head and get out of the way of whatever else is going on and just let that unfold. And I don't need to feel included or appreciated, because that scenario is really about other people, right? And that was an interesting shift, because all during it I was thinking, oh, what I want is I want to feel included and I want to feel accepted and I want to feel like I want them to show me the love kind of thing. And then I was like, maybe this isn't about me. So that was it's kind of nice to have a little bit more clarity around that. So I'm sort of coming at it with like sort of a loving detachment in a positive way. For the last 8 minutes or so, you can find a comfortable position wherever you are. You can shut off your camera and lie down. If you fall asleep, I'll end the meeting and you'll automatically be disconnected from it at the end, so no worries, there's no judging. So finding a comfortable position. You can also do this sitting up. And I'll lead us in a brief mental body scan, which is another way of getting out of our own heads and getting back in touch with our physical beings so that we can feel more relaxed, to alleviate suffering, to fall back to sleep at night, to fall asleep for the first time. So again, taking in a deep inhale through your nose and allowing for a longer exhale through your mouth. Allowing your heart rate to slow, sending that chemical message to your brain, telling you that you're relaxed. Taking a moment just to notice all your points of contact with the surface beneath you, where your hands are resting, noticing the soles of your feet, the heaviness of your hips, taking a moment to be aware of textures, temperatures on your skin. Starting at the top of your head, taking in a deep inhale through your nose. And then as you breathe out, relaxing the muscles in your forehead, relaxing your eyes, relaxing your cheeks and your jawbone, allowing your teeth to separate slightly. Your tongue can float to the roof of your mouth. Taking a moment to breathe in deeply through your nose, becoming aware of any fragrances or aromas around you. And tuning into sound. Noticing sounds in your own personal environment. Sounds of life around you. Of machinery. Of your own quiet breathing. Taking a moment to check in with your physical being, noticing those areas where you normally hold tension, where you may have noticed those sensations in your body in our last exercise. Bringing your awareness right there and then intentionally relaxing those areas. Allowing your feet to flop out to the side or your hands to rest. Your shoulders to relax, your eyelids to be heavy. Taking a moment to swallow. And bringing your awareness to your chest and lungs. Breathing in and noticing the rise and fall of your rib cage. Becoming aware of that oxygen that you're breathing in. And then letting go of everything that no longer serves you. Literally and figuratively. Breathing in and letting it go. Shifting your awareness to your core, to your belly. Perhaps taking 3 belly breaths right here, allowing your stomach to expand like a balloon as you breathe in. And then pulling your belly button back towards your spinal column as you breathe out. Expanding and contracting. Keeping your awareness right there at your core. Noticing the heaviness of your limbs. Taking a moment just to be grateful for your own physical being. Whatever level of health or fitness you might be in tonight, today. Just gratitude for your place on this earth. Gratitude for all your complications, all your challenges, all your celebrations. And gratitude for the people in your life, for those relationships, the ones that challenge us, the ones that are complicated, the ones we celebrate. And gratitude for those people, for all their complications and all their challenges and all their celebrations. Gratitude for all of it. As it is your life unfolding from moment to moment. Appreciating that miracle. I have a quote to share with you as we close tonight. It comes from Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. The way you see people is the way you treat them, and the way you treat them is what they become. The way you see people is the way you treat them, and the way you treat them is what they become. You may want to bring some movement into your fingers or toes. You're lying down, perhaps rolling over to one side, before taking in a deep inhale and coming to a seated position wherever you are. Taking a moment, perhaps with your eyes still closed or your gaze downward, to set an intention for yourself for the days and the week ahead. Perhaps a way of being in relationship. A way of expanding your awareness. A way of being gentle with yourself and others. Thinking of a phrase or a word or a sentence or two that you can sort of have as your intention to guide you. And tucking that away in your mind and your heart to carry with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You're so welcome. Be well, everybody.